Hey guys, my channel is the Shooting Star 31. My name is Steve, and this is my first motovlog. I'm riding down 7th Street in the old part of Victorville. This is Route 66. Back in the old days before the freeway, this was the main road, east-west in the United States. And Victorville is one of the stops on it. It's about, it's between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, if you don't know where it is. Sheesh. That guy's flying through this town, and it gets posted at 35 here. Yeah, I gotta get over here. Alright, so this is the old part, and here mostly vacant and abandoned stores. Back when I first came here, this was a kind of the center of commerce here, and I don't know, about 20 years ago or so, the city decided we're going to make it beautiful. Well, originally they had parking out in front of the stores, angled parking, and so it was pretty easy just to park there and run into a store. Then they decided to make it 4 lanes and make it pretty, and the parking was on the side streets. So all the commerce eventually moved a few miles down the road to Bear Valley Road, and the old downtown section just got worse and worse and worse, and it's pretty well now just a hangout for drug dealers, and there are a lot of homeless people in Victorville, which is sad, but I guess there are worse places to be homeless. I'm just going over the Mojave River right now, and I'm on Highway 18 now, which goes through Apple Valley. So I am from Los Angeles, and I grew up in the Whittier area. Great place to grow up. I loved it, and sometimes I hated it, but there was a lot of opportunity there. I hope you can hear me in this wind blast. Not going all that fast, but I know there is a pretty good amount of wind blast. So when I got in my 20s, I got pretty adventuresome. First thing I did was I started flying airplanes. Well, I really loved it. I couldn't get enough of flying, and I went down to initially I went down to Fullerton Airport, and there was a flying club there, and you could take an introductory flight for cheap, really cheap. I don't know, it was $20 or something. Oops, I don't want to do this. Let me go one more here. One thing about doing this motovlogging, you have to sometimes just stop and pay attention to what you're doing. So I did eventually get my pilot's license. Couldn't get enough of flying. I spent every dime that I had on it. and I racked up about 175 hours, something like that. Was part owner of an airplane. But, you know, it kind of eventually wore off, and it was kind of an expensive proposition. And so I pretty well stopped, and, you know, and it's about 23 or 24. And around that time, I was working at an electronics store in the San Gabriel Valley near Los Angeles. And the owner of the store had this motorcycle, and I had my eye on it, but I didn't have any money. So, but I kept looking at it, and finally worked out a deal with him where I had a piece of electronic equipment that he wanted, and he didn't want the bike. So I made a deal with him to trade for the equipment for the bike, and I think I had to throw in $100 too. But that was my first bike. It was a Yamaha DT1 250 Dual Sport, which were called Enduros back in those days. So I had this helmet. It was a Bell Star, the first full-face helmet made, at least for regular street use. And bought a used leather jacket. I had some boots, bought some gloves. And I was in business, and I rode that bike all over the place. It wasn't the greatest bike in the world. It was, I mean, this was in 1973, and it was a 72 bike. It was a single cylinder, 2-cycle, with oil injection, with a separate oil tank. Kickstart only. Easy to kick it over. Not very much foot pressure needed. And I guess I mainly rode that bike to work and back. But I did ride it up in the mountains and on the freeway. But you know, one day I was coming back from the mountains on the freeway, and the motor blew up in it. But I was ready for a new bike anyhow. What I really wanted was a actual street bike. So my next bike was my first Kawasaki. It was an S2, it's called. This was a 3-cylinder, 2-cycle, red and chrome thing. Beautiful looking bike. At least I thought it was. And had this kind of a sporty tailpiece on it. Kind of the first hint of the sport bike. That was kind of the sport bike of its day. Not the 350, but the 500 and the 750 was. So my fondest memory of that bike is starting the thing up when it was cold and watching my neighbor's house disappear in a cloud of blue smoke. I was ready to move up because bigger is better, right? Well, yeah, especially when you have a 350. Helicopter's taking off. F86 right there. That's a pretty cool, huh? And it's rolling into Apple Valley Airport here. And what are we gonna do? Guess we're just gonna turn around. Anyway, so in around 1977 or so, I got rid of the 350 triple, and I got an H1, which was a 500 triple. That was a great bike. I had that for many years. Very reliable. The suspension, though, not very good in those days. I remember riding down the freeway one day doing 90 on that bike, wondering if pieces were going to come flying off of it. I mean, it just not a super stable high-speed bike. Nothing like today's sport bikes. Anyway, I don't know how far I'm going to go with this. It's probably enough for one video, so thanks for watching. I'd appreciate it if you'd like the video and you would subscribe. I do monetize the videos, and you know, I make a few cents here and there.